Good afternoon, everybody. This is Anthony with the Right Start Experiment. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're here in Alaska. We're going to be talking more about COVID-19 or the coronavirus. It is March 26th, so you're going to want to stay tuned. Look into this. And then again, I do appreciate everybody that is watching my videos here on YouTube. We are coming live, well, as live as a YouTube video can be. It is March 26th here in the wonderful state of Alaska. Again, I want to thank everyone that is watching this, and I hope all of you are doing well on both fronts, the personal health and, of course, your financial health as well. Make those smart decisions. I shouldn't have to dive back into that unless you want me to. Social distancing, obviously ensuring that you and your family are away from crowds and groups, washing your hands regularly, and making sure that if you do have any kind of sanitizers or cleaning agents that will kill the coronavirus, or really anything at this point, make sure and do so. Keep your immune systems up, take your vitamins, and do what you can to be healthy in this time of need. Let's dive into this. I'm going to try not to make this a super crazy long video. I know some of my videos, for whatever reason, I just kind of kept going and going. Again, it is March 26th, and we currently have 59 cases here in the state of Alaska. So let me talk through a couple of the mandates and a couple of other things here. So the initial or international, and let me open up some of these tabs. Again, if you guys want to keep up on the COVID state mandates and where we are, make sure check out the Alaska Department of Health and Social Services. They do a great job. Governor Dunleavy in his cabinet, both the commissioner and the state of Alaska doc, do a great job on releasing videos on Facebook. And then updating their pages as well. That's where I try to catch those every day at, I believe, 6 p.m. is when those go live. And then if you want to go to a federal level, Donald Trump is releasing, our president there, is releasing several videos. And while I'm opening these, again, earlier today, Trump is adamant or is looking toward opening some businesses back up. I don't have a lot of details on that. I did watch part of the video. I think that's kind of what he's looking to do, but we will see. I don't really understand that at this point, and maybe it's just an Alaskan thing because we're still getting hit. But with the current state of New York and a lot of these other places, I believe his intent was for non-infected areas, but what doesn't drop those that are to those areas. So I'm a little confused on that matter. Simply because this is still a very live pandemic. Yes, we're getting more testing out. Yes, supply chains are still delayed. There's a lot of goofiness with that notion and that thought, at least in my opinion. All right, so let me. The most recent mandates are March 23rd. So that's what we're going to go through. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but the mandates are listed on health mandates right on that site I listed earlier. And I wanted to talk about these because I feel like these are the most relevant to all of us. So effective 12:01 a.m., March 25th, 2020, all people arriving in Alaska, whether resident, worker, or visitor, are required to self-quarantine for 14 days and monitor for illness. Arriving residents and workers in self-quarantine should work from home unless you support critical infrastructure. See attachment B. We're going to glaze over that, but I will touch on that here in a moment. Critical infrastructure is vital to keeping Alaska safe. As a result, businesses and employees of critical infrastructure industries must take special care to protect their staff and operations during this pandemic. If your business is included in Attachment A and your workers must travel to enter Alaska, you must submit a plan or protocol for maintaining critical infrastructure to the Department of Commerce, Community and Economic Development by 3 p.m. March 24th. So this was released the 23rd. You had to have a plan in place by the 24th, 3 p.m., outlining how you will avoid the spread of COVID-19 and not endanger the lives of in the community and infrastructure. Let me kind of keep going. Proceed. Okay, so this just kind of goes in. I'll glaze over or try to run through this as fast as possible. So it says proceed directly from the airport to your designated quarantine location, which is the location identified and affirmed by you on the mandatory State of Alaska Travel Declaration. If you are a resident, your designated quarantine location is your residence. If you're a visitor or worker, your designated quarantine location is your hotel room or rented lodging, folks. Number 2, remain in your designated quarantine location for a period of 14 days or the duration of your stay in Alaska, whichever is shorter. You may leave your location for designated quarantine location only for medical emergencies and to seek medical care. Do not visit any public spaces, including but not limited to pools, meeting rooms, fitness centers, etc. And one thing to note, I know I mentioned the Trump thing earlier, a lot of hype or change is being suggested because of the 14-day quarantine period coming close. So we're going to see, I'm interested to see what we're going to see over the next several days on what the plans moving beyond that 14-day quarantine period are. Obviously, don't visit public area. Don't allow visitors in unless they're a physician, healthcare provider, etc. Comply with all the rules and protocols related to your quarantine. This mandate supersedes any local government travel restrictions. So the failure to follow this order is punishable by a fine up to $25,000 or imprisonment of no more than 1 year. And those are Alaska State Statutes 12.55.035 and Alaska Statute 12.55.135. So that's current. I'm going to glaze over kind of, attachment A highlights it's an A to Z document kind of covering an assortment of businesses, and I'll just cover a couple of them. Healthcare operations is A. Business provided any services performing work necessary to the operations and maintenance of essential infrastructure, including but not limited to the Port of Alaska, public works, construction of housing, airport operations, water, sewer, gas, electric, oil production, mining, lodging, roads, and highways. So oil production and mining, that's where I come from as far as work goes. I feel like they could have done a lot better job addressing and dealing with the oil and mining companies, or at least being more specific to those groups. Number C is financial services. D is first responders. E is essential government function supporters. F is grocery stores. I'm not going to go through the list again. Get this list off of that website. Now, one I did want to discuss. So all businesses. Okay, so here's the COVID-19 personal care services and gatherings. So this is now statewide. I talked about this the other day when this was limited to Fairbanks, the surrounding area, and Ketchikan and the surrounded area. It's the same thing I said before, except for now it's statewide. So all businesses, congregations, and gatherings in the state of Alaska where individuals are within 6 feet of each other must stop all operations. This includes hair salons, day spas, aesthetics locations, nail salons, barbershops, tattoo shops, body piercing locations, massage therapy, tanning locations. Additionally, no gathering more than 10 people may take place. If a gathering does take place, people must be 6 feet apart. Kind of continues down that list. This was effective March 24th, so at this point 2 days ago at 5 p.m. So that's kind of where we're at this moment. So Thursday, March 26th, a lot of stuff is happening. Obviously, we're up to almost 60 cases of the coronavirus here in Alaska, and it is spread all over. You've got Homer, Seward, Anchorage, the Matsu Valley, Fairbanks, of course, Juneau, Ketchikan, and other areas, I'm sure. I can't say it enough. I said it at the beginning of this video, and you guys know it. Obviously, take social distancing serious, kind of hunker down, man. I know that's a thing that's happening, but that's, you doing your part to support your community, your family, and everybody else. Obviously, there are times in situations where you got to get out there. You got to go get groceries. Maybe you need some hardware or some kind of goods from your local department store. Then obviously make that plan. I know listening to the doctor talk on the Governor Dunleavy's Facebook stream, one person in, don't bring your whole family in, don't, limit the possibility, and protect yourself from those in these stores. In addition to that, let's talk about a couple of high notes here. We, as a community, I feel like are coming together, and locally and nationally. I mean, there's a lot of great things I've seen online, community-wise, people helping each other. I was on LinkedIn, saw a great video of a person that had extra toilet paper and sanitizer. They put it out in little bins out front of their door for delivery services. A gentleman showed up, delivered a box, and then was just taken back. Hey, we can have one of these? Yes, these are for you guys, the folks that are the porters, the mail couriers that are out there that are still delivering stuff, the FedEx guys, the UPS guys, DHL guys. And so I thought that was really cool. Another thing, as there's so many different suggestions on how to pass time, kind of cool. If you guys obviously have Microsoft accounts, Amazon accounts, and iTunes accounts, they have released several videos that were in theater early. So if that's your kind of thing, make sure and check those out. There's lists available on iTunes and on Amazon and everywhere else. So some of the movies that were in theater are now available for on-demand purchase or digital purchase. So it may be an option for you. Outside of that, I know arts and crafts is a huge one. Michael's is doing curbside pickup. So if you and your family want to partake in some arts and crafts or something of the sort, make sure check out Michael's. I don't know if Joann's is doing it, but Joann's is an option. And start looking at some of these local guys and see if curbside or maybe mailing you products is a possibility, especially to pass the time. Get outside, but keep the social distancing while you do that. Obviously, you don't want to congregate or have a large mass of any kind. At least that's my thought. But get outside. I've made it a concerted effort to get myself, to get my little boy, even drug my teenage daughter and my wife and family out at least 30, 45 an hour if I can, or bring them out several times. The weather here, at least in the Matsu Valley, has been decent. It started raining yesterday, but trying to do that, I feel, is a very important thing to do at this time, just so you don't get cooped up. Obviously, it's a give and take depending on the weather. So, all right, guys. So, covered quite a few things. As always, please drop a comment down below. It does, as I've said this several times, it means a lot to me personally, and of course to the community that's following me here. Again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share the video. I'm going to try to come out with another one tomorrow if there's decent news, and then I will continue doing this through the weekend. In the meantime, you guys be safe, hunker down, enjoy some Netflix or whatever it is that you want to do, and I'll see you in the next video.